I think it can have a very nice atmosphere. It's very relaxing. I'm waiting for Richter to contact me, but he hasn't. It's a fax machine. I rarely find a use for it. I don't know anybody else who owns one. And back then, when like the fax machine was the non plus ultra gadget only the rich people could afford. Crazy times. Newspaper. This is new. I like that. Like it's the same room, but every object has new text written to it. If I inspect it, the ticking seems so loud. Just goes to show how quiet it is. Yeah, that's true. Like at night when everything quieted down, you hear a lot of different sounds than during the day. Just because you're more aware of it. There's nothing on at this hour. I see no point in turning it on. Or if the television just suddenly, turned on and then screaming at me. I don't want this. The sticker? Okay, I can't click on the sticker actually. Guest table. Come to think of it, I never offered him any tea. Not that I ever learned how to make it. Should I put a record on? It's too late for that. I'm not in the mood for music anyway. Newspaper. What's this? A newspaper? It must have fallen off the chair. Don't read it. I need to distract myself somehow. I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. Maybe reading the newspaper will take my mind off things. It's a newspaper. In Japanese. I only leave them in here for the guests. I hardly ever read them myself. I don't think I've taken the time to go over one in years, in fact. Well, it's not like I have anything better to do. Is this one of these episodes? I see. Look at the society articles. Or maybe go from behind to the first. From last to first. Look at the television articles. I don't really watch much television. It feels as if all the information in the world gets passed through that little black box. But father stopped them from reporting on the kidnapping. Back when it happened, I was glad about that. Let's fuss. More. Look at the education articles. Everyone attends high school now, even girls. Universal education policy, they call it. The country has gotten rich enough that every child can go to school. Education is the backbone of modern society. If you want to work for a good company, you have to get into a good university. With more people in the running than ever, the competition to get into those universities has gotten fierce though. The new generation is rebelling. Schoolyard violence and delinquency are on the rise. My boy was too sensible to get mixed up in any of that. I don't want to read anymore. It will only remind me of him. Oh, there are... Okay, multiple... Now the comedy boom is over. All the comedians are flocking to other genres. The occult seems really popular at the moment. Look at all these paranormal specials. Look at the culture articles. Now that everyone has more spending money to go around, people are coming up with all kinds of new diversions. It seems like only yesterday that people were flocking to the arcades to shoot aliens. But now we have these enormous theme parks and gaming machines that plug straight into our televisions. Everyone's talking about superhero series, foreign films, and movies based on the latest bestseller. Back in my day, fusion rock and folk music was all the rage, but now it's all about city pop and idols. I find it hard to care about that sort of thing anymore. I hear the new big thing is some mascot line of delinquent birds, mockingbirds I think it's called. The stickers. Was that what Richter was talking about? Trends seem to have such short shell lives now, with how quickly the times are changing. I think I'm just too old to keep up anymore. It's young people who are leading the way. With the modern worldviews, my generation will only fall further behind. Look at the economy articles. All sorts of articles about the current state of the economy. Now that the post-war boom has passed its peak, we're moving into the era of large corporations. It's about 220 to 230 yen to the dollar. Manufacturing is on the rise and exports are healthy. The dollar's down from its height, and people are saying it could fall further. There's no denying how much the standard of living has improved in the past few years. It's common to own a car and television now, and supermarkets are better stocked than ever. I couldn't imagine living in such a time, like right after the war. Crazy. Although with everyone flocking to the city, land prices are skyrocketing. Nowadays, most people can only dream of home ownership. Like me. Yeah. The city center is going to be nothing but apartments before long. I'm not exactly a businesswoman, so this all feels like another world to me. Okay, it's the same place. Look at the society articles. It looks like the city's biggest problem right now is pollution. I remember how the air and water used to be even more polluted. The river was covered in scum, like Lucina, from all the sewage and industrial waste, and it stank like the stinker so badly it would make my eyes water and make the fish go away. Eventually, people started getting sick, and it couldn't be ignored anymore. Fortunately, it's gotten better since then. Though the air around the industrial district is still filthy with gas and smog. If there's one thing Honjo never wants for, it's horrific crimes. They found a police officer dead in a local park just the other day. A lot of my family are in the police. I hope it wasn't anybody I knew. I don't read the news anymore, not since last year. It brings back bad memories. Suicide at local high school? Oh, I remember that. A high school girl jumped off a roof about a week ago. I think this is the friend of the high school girl we can play. In her profile it was like she's trying to find out what happened to these allegedly suicide of this high school girlfriend. She was bullied, I think. Or maybe it was something about exam pressure. But no, this can't be right. Her name. Michiyo Shiraishi from Komagata High School? Can't be. Oh, it's the girl who actually had information on her dead son and like how it happened, and now she's dead as well. Oh. Michiyo Shiraishi, the same girl who witnessed my son's kidnapping, committed suicide last week. But that means Mr. Jonoishi was terrified of someone who already died. Huh, true. Richter talked to this guy a few days ago. So she was already dead, but he was scared of a dead girl somehow killing him. So I don't know. Is that what he meant by a curse? Can't work this out on my own. Maybe Richter will know. I won't he call? Oh, I haven't left it off the hook, have I? Rotary phone. I'm waiting for Richter to contact me, but he hasn't. I've made sure the receiver's on the hook. It will ring as soon as he calls. That must be him. This is uncomfortable as well. If people call you in the middle of the night, I don't know, man. I find this uncomfortable. Do nothing. Or maybe this is a curse bearer. Hello, Shigima residence. Hardway Shigima, 2 AM. Komagata Bridge. Oh. Richter called me out to meet him, and we came here to Komagata Bridge. Richter, there's something I need to tell you. Funny, I was just thinking the same thing. Standing around is the last thing I want to be doing right now. This is my only chance to bring back my son. I can't afford to fritter it away. Damn. Wait, is this? Oh my god! Jesus Christ! Holy macaroni! Mockingbird number 18 discovered. Good that I took a look around. It's a high school girl flamingo. Holy shit! Number 18. Pink Punisher. Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. This was Head Honjo. Okay. Yeah. That's right. That's how we roll. Surroundings. We are on Komagata Bridge, over the Sumida River. There's a highway on one side and a freeway on the other, but they are both deserted this late at night. Komagata Bridge. One of the bridges spanning the Sumida River, completed in 1927 as part of the reconstruction effort following the Great Kanto earthquake. It is notable both for its distinctive blue arches and the cutting-edge, for the time, techniques used in its construction. There are many bridges stretching across the Sumida River, each boasting unique structural form and design. There are actually so many bridges that I can't really differentiate them from each other. I'm not sure if we were already at this point or not. With the other character, with the Shogo Oki, I think his name was. Sumida River. The Sumida River. The water is filthy and horrid, but at night, when it's still, it looks almost peaceful, like when Lucina is asleep. Can I ask you something, ma'am? Is the Sumida River what you Honjo folks picture when you think of home? I couldn't say. All I can tell you is that I can hardly stand the sight of it. Right, should have guessed. This was where they found him after he went missing. All alone, floating in that horrible water. All I can think is how scared he must have been, how cold he must have been. What did he ever do to deserve something so awful? I've come here every day since then. And I pray to the river to give him back. To give me back my son. Day after day after day. You know, in olden times, people believed rivers marked where our world met the next. So the act of crossing flowing water had a huge amount of spiritual significance. Back when Edo was founded, the people of Chu saw the Sumida River the same way. They associated the far side of the river with the afterlife. That same place would later become Honjo. All their fear and revulsion accumulated there and took root. But then the Ryogoku Bridge sprang up after the great fire of Meireki, and just like that, Honjo was part of the city too. And as it turned from farmland into a town, the people surrounded it with man-made rivers and crisscrossed it with canals and waterways. Weren't those to prevent flooding? That's what I was told. They were, but that's not all they were for. Their other purpose was to contain all the corruption that had built up on the far shore and stop it leaking through to our side of the Great Divide. Officially they were a physical barrier, but unofficially they were a spiritual one too. So if I have this right, you're saying that Honjo is a place where the real world meets the afterlife? Exactly. That's why the rite of resurrection is here rather than anywhere else. I'm sure of it. And it's probably why the 7 mysteries and their curses have survived to the modern day. And I guess that would make the spot we're standing now right over the water the border between life and death. If there ever was a place where bringing back the dead might be possible, I reckon it's here. It's funny that you mentioned praying to the river. That might have done more than you think. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Just think aloud, Mayam. Well, it's a nice thought. Files updated, holy trousers. Sumida River, a Class A river that is part of the Arakawa River system, which runs through much of eastern Tokyo and empties into Tokyo Bay. During the Edo period, Sumida's riverbanks played a key role in the transportation of lumber used for construction. In addition to its logistical importance, it was also a place for the common folk to gather and enjoy activities such as seasonal flower viewing or river bathing, and there exist many woodblock prints depicting such activities. The area became plagued with sewage issues when the surrounding environs were industrialized in the post-war period, but the situation has improved since. Many unique bridges span the Sumida River, including the Ryogoku and Azumabashi bridges, which attract a large number of visitors at sightseeing spots. Massive fireworks displays in the summer are also always sure to draw a crowd. The river has served as a cornerstone for both the city and its people, having both aided in its development and serving as an inspiring backdrop for countless works of art and literature. So this giant dialogue was just because I looked at the river? Okay. And I can look at it again? Oh, that's right. There's one more memory I have of this river. Do you mind if I tell you? Go ahead. It must have been about 20 years now, when I was still a schoolgirl. Back then the Sumida River was much filthier than it is now. It was full of garbage and industrial discharge. It was scummy and slimy, and it stank. Could look out over the water and see dead cats and dogs and pigeons just floating. And one day, among all the filth and garbage, was a piece of my missing classmate's hand. Okay. What? It was almost a miracle when you stopped to think about it. What were the chances that someone would find a part of her that was still recognizable? And that, although everything but the palm had rotted away in the water, the part that was left would have an identifiable scar? And that they could tell it between a murder from the blade marks on the bone? Huh? Wait, are you talking about the Nijima murders? So you've heard of it, I'm impressed. I assume you were but in elementary school at the time. I wasn't really aware of it then, I only heard about it after the fact. I had no idea the victim was a classmate of yours. Why is the music making everything so tense? Man. The Nejima murders overview. A notorious case from over 2 decades ago involving the murder of a female high school student. So this is something entirely new as well. It first came to the attention of the authorities when part of a human left hand was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Testing revealed it to belong to a missing female high school student, as it appeared to have been severed deliberately. The police launched a murder investigation. A large-scale search of the river was organized, but the highly polluted state of the water made this impossible. Visibility was poor, the stench was intense, and the divers quickly fell ill. They succeeded in recovering only the victim's head and what appeared to be part of her leg before the search was called off. At the time of the incident, the Sumida River was as polluted as it had ever been. Neither fish nor shellfish could survive in it, eventually causing the annual fireworks festival to be called off indefinitely. Over the course of the search, the police discovered a number of unidentified human bones. This caused a stir among the public as several other young women had gone missing in recent years in the Tokyo area, and was feared that they may have fallen victim to the same fate. Forensic technologies at the time, however, were not advanced enough to determine the identities of the deceased, and so the police were unable to open any inquiries. Due to the overwhelming lack of circumstantial evidence, the investigation ground to a halt until a hitherto unrelated individual came to its attention. During a questioning about a separate incident, Fumichika Nejima, a 36-year-old shop owner with no relation to the victim, divulged details about her that had never been released to the general public. An investigation into his background was conducted, leading to his arrest. Nejima testified that he had snatched his victim from the street and confined her in the underground storeroom of a shop, which also served as his living quarters. He chose her for no special reason, but simply decided she was an opportune target on seeing her walking alone at night. After keeping her locked up for several days, he restrained her, sewed her mouth shut, and severed her fingers and toes with a box cutter, where she was still conscious. As she screamed silently behind her sealed lips, he proceeded to her wrists, her ankles, her elbows, her knees, working his way inwards slowly and methodically. His victim constantly wavered in and out of consciousness. The ordeal continued until she died of blood loss. Nejima dismembered the rest of her body and disposed of it behind his home in the Sumida River before cleaning his storeroom and returning to his everyday routine as if nothing had happened. The brutality of his actions shocked the nation when they were eventually reported. I think the story is pretty similar to Nekopara, right? The girl with the cats, with the maids, with the no. Once apprehended, Nejima readily divulged the details of the murder, but was less willing to explain his motive. When asked, he would only break down in tears, saying, "I don't know what came over me, I know it was wrong." In the end, the police could extract nothing more from him than expressions of remorse, although the efficiency of his methods strongly suggested that he had committed similar crimes in the past. No corroborating evidence ever came to light. Was he maybe possessed by some kind of curse? Nejima was sentenced to life in prison at his first hearing. The sentence was imposed with no appeal from the defendant. Damn. Damn. That's a bit grisly. Fumichika Nejima. Oh my, what the? Male, self-employed, none. The man who made headlines over 2 decades ago as the perpetrator of the brutal killings known as the Nejima murders. He looks, unique. Unique is the right word. To be honest, it was all a bit of a blur. A wave of chaos just parting around me. Something like that. They said the rest of her body must have sunk to the bottom of the river. They combed the riverbed, but they only ever found pieces. Everything else must have rotted and flowed out to sea. Afterwards, I heard that all the divers who had been looking for her fell ill. A sorry story for everyone involved, huh? It's funny, everyone figures the river's filthy already, so one more piece of garbage won't hurt. But every little bit makes it worse. It's a vicious cycle. I know I wouldn't want to go rooting around down there myself. That's right, which is why the riverbed is the last place anybody would go looking. Or so was the killer's thinking, I suppose. The times were changing quickly back then. Things were confusing. Everyone seemed to be in a hurry. Young people were moving to Tokyo in droves. Some even ran away from home to make it in the big city. And they made easy targets for bad people. A lot of them ended up disappearing without a trace. Huh? You see, back then, if you chopped a body up into tiny pieces and threw it in the river, it would rot quickly and discreetly and sink to the bottom, never to be seen again. Are you saying what I think you're saying? They arrested him shortly after, Fumichika Nejima, I mean. The man who killed my classmate and cut her into pieces. He was so methodical about it, it couldn't have been his first crime. And people began to wonder how many other girls he'd murdered the same way. The police never found any evidence of other murders in the end. But the river knows the truth. How many corpses has it swallowed up over the years, I wonder? That same thought spread through everyone's mind, and they started to avoid this area. So really, this river has been rank with corruption for decades now. Or at least that's how it seems to me. Well, was that interesting? Well, I can see why you don't have any good memories of this river. With all the darkness lurking beneath the surface, there's no reason that you would. Still, if I may, ma'am, I am surprised you know so much about the Nejima murders. But how could I not? After all, I was the one killing... I was the one who found the hand! You scoundrel, what? The police actually wrote me a thank you letter. They said it was only thanks to me that they managed to bring Nejima to justice. That was the only time my father ever said he was proud of me. Huh. I guess it just wasn't the killer's day. Sometimes I wonder if he resents me for it. Man, what crazy stories from inspecting the Sumida River. This kind of turned out pretty dark. Richter Kai. He's gazing down at the water. What does he see down there, I wonder? Talk. You go first, I'll go first. You go first, I'll go first. Backing out. Standing around is the last thing I want to be doing right now. This is my only chance to bring back my son. I can't afford to fritter it away. Okay. Should I talk or... I want to explore every dialogue option, so... I think this is optional, even though we get crazy amount of information somehow. I'm not sure. The Sumida River. I have nothing but awful memories of it. This answered my question. You go first, I go first? You go first. Please, go ahead. Alright, then. I've been poking around places connected to the 7 mysteries looking for curse bearers, and I think I found a few candidates. First, a tall man I ran into in Kinshiburi Park. I asked him for directions, trying to probe him a little, but he turned the questions right back around on me. And he was out of there the second he figured I wasn't what he was looking for. I got the sense curses were nothing new to him. I'm about 40% sure he's a curse bearer. But he's not. Then there's this middle-aged guy I saw on South Warigesui Street. Doesn't he look like the guy who was scared of the dead high school girl who talked to Richter a few days ago? There's no question about this one. He had one of the curse stones in his hand. Was this guy actually the darkness and then a knife in your belly guy? Huh. He had a nervous air about him too. It was clear he was up to some shady business. Gathering soul drakes, I bet. He'd make a good target. Oh yeah, these two. With the woman who ran away. Next up is a pair. A young man and woman I saw around Ryogoku Bridge. This time the man came up to me and asked me flat out if I was a curse bearer. I told him I didn't know what he was talking about and he backpedaled and left. Looks like they lurk around there often, looking for kindred spirits, would be my guess. Though it didn't seem like they were quite working as a pair. Gathering soul drakes in a group might be a decent idea if you could make it work, but with things being how they are, it's got to be hard to find folks one can trust. They've got brass though, I don't know what their deal is, but I'd like to find out. Last is two detectives I've seen sniffing around. The police are involved? Not necessarily. A body turned up in a local park a few days ago, so they might just be looking to that. A body turned up in a local park a few days ago? In a park as well? Before this whole Yoko thing happened? It's probably the dead policeman. Yeah. Still, the park's got ties to one of the 7 mysteries. Might be it was a curse that did the guy in. And if they had standing in detectives from the head office, then something's got to be up. How do you know where they come? How do you know where they are from? Let's just say that when you're in this business, there are some faces you get to know. Anyway, that's everyone who's caught my eye. You found all of them in so little time? I really did hire the best. That's all in the name, ma'am. Richter Kai. P.I. Private Investigator. No, wait. Make that Richter Kai Investigator Extraordinaire. My, an Investigator Extraordinaire? Julps the Extraordinaire? Is that why you can dress like that without drawing attention to yourself? You bet. An Investigator Extraordinaire can blend in like a chameleon in any outfit. Well, that aside, the middle-aged man and the young couple sound the most promising, am I right? Whichever we pick, it's still too early to make a move. It seems like the curse bearers are less involved with each other than we thought. Plus, there are still others we don't know about. I say we hang fire and see how things play out. Once more bodies start showing up, that will get the pot nice and hot. And once it's boiling, our chance will come. Man. He's kinda a goofy character, but he's also kinda cool, I think. I don't know what to think of Richter. Okay. There's something I need to tell you. What's up? Where? That girl, Michio Shiraishi. The one who was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping. That's her, well... She's dead. She's what? The student who committed suicide last week. That was her. I heard something like that had happened. Never got the name though. Talk about bad luck. We finally get a lead, only to find it's turned into a literal dead end. Unless her death was the whole reason Jonoichi was so shaken up. He said she was going to curse him. Was he talking about her taking revenge from beyond the grave? It seems like we're back where we started. Not necessarily. That teacher knows something, I'm sure of it. At the very least, I put money on him having something to do with Miss Shiraishi's death. That's why he's so scared of being cursed by her. I see. And also, something tells me he knows more about your son's kidnapping. Huh? In any case, I think I've got a good idea of what he's hiding. Call it a hunch. A hunch? Well, more of a theory. Care to take a guess? I can guess. I couldn't say, I think. I'm just an ordinary housewife. I'm not clever enough for all this. Are you sure? I'd had you down for sharper than that. That's flattering, but I'm afraid you're mistaken. Anyway, that's enough speculation for now. The truth will out in time. Right now, I think we need to have another chat with Mr. Jonoichi. Something wrong? Not really, it just struck me it's been 20 years since the Nejima murders. So it has. Not to spook you or anything, but I thought you might be interested in knowing. Life in prison doesn't always mean life. There's precedent for first-time offenders being allowed on out on parole after 20 years. Only if they are found to show remorse and the desire to reform themselves, of course. That's right, I'm impressed you know so much. Still, it's hard for someone with a criminal record to reintegrate into society. I hear they've been trying to fix that recently, matching inmates with jobs and an accommodation. Oh really? They keep an eye on them, of course, and make them report in for regular checkups. But to avoid discrimination, they keep the inmates' records a secret from everyone but their employers. They even give particularly notorious criminals new identities so they won't be recognized in the workplace. Why? The way you put it, it's like you're saying Fumichika Nejima could be out on parole right now. Back in society under a new name, with nobody any the wiser. It's possible. As it happens, a little birdie told me about a big name making parole a few months back. I don't know if that was Nejima, but our discussion just now did bring it to mind. I see. How unsettling. Now that you mention it, I just remembered something too. What was it? I was passing Komagata High School a little while ago when I saw someone. A janitor, I think, and I could have sworn he reminded me of Fumichika Nejima. This is not who we played, right? Shogo Okie. Wait, it actually can't be Shogo Oki, and this is why the private investigator Richter didn't mention him, because in this current timeline, Shogo Oki is dead in the park, and he sent Yoko home. I think this is what happened, like parallel to what we experience as these characters right now, probably. So this is a new character. A janitor, I think, and I could have sworn he reminded me of Fumichika Nejima. Oh? He looked a little different after 20 years. Much thinner than I remember too. I told myself I was just seeing things. But perhaps it was him after all. So, what next? The big question now is what the rest of the curse bearers are up to. Luckily, the Sumida River is a good distance from any of the 7 mysteries. It's unlikely the other curse bearers will come all the way here. I can finally have a moment to think. I see. Alright. Okay. You cannot currently progress any further. Once your situation has changed, select resume to try again. Pressing suspend will return you to the story chart. Huh? Okay, so basically this route is locked. Resume. Huh. I guess we have to do the other characters first. Anyway, this is a good timing because I'm already talking for 40 something minutes, so I will stop the recording for now, take a short break, and yeah, that's it. I don't know what to say for an outro, so take care.